Back to work today, like we talked last week. We talked so long for about one game, and now the weeks are gonna start to fly by, and games are gonna start flying by. So just right, looking back to Saturday, proud of the way our guys sat here last week and talked about just being curious and seeing how we matched up, how we were going to travel, how we were going to respond to adversity, and sure enough, all those things hit, and couldn't ask for a better way for it to work out from a head coach standpoint, for the youth of our program standpoint. But to be able to win a hard game on the road is just going to benefit us down the line here. So proud of the way our guys responded, proud of the way they attacked the adversity, proud of the way first time to be down in a crucial situation. And then to watch them pull together and find a way to figure it out there at the end in a tough environment. So can't say enough. So proud of them, and looking forward to looking back to Vacker and back to see that thing packed and excited again for Saturday, and get ready for our next opponent.
Coach, you said you were always curious about what you're going to look like, curious about who's going to win those position battles, dating back to fall camp and everything, and then now to go on the road, like you said, first D1 opponent on the road, tough environment. What did you learn about these guys?
The big thing, they didn't flinch, from the get-go. And of course, we had an hour weather delay, got started. Sometimes those can be distracting, but, guys, you saw the way we started, came out, and, offense flew down the field, put points on the board. Defense was stopping them. Knowing, having been there before, they were a good staff, a good team, they're going to have some answers, and we knew the game was going to get hard. And then to see it kind of flip the other way. But again, guys didn't flinch. Kept working, kept all the stuff that we talk about, we build in the culture of our program. You can hear that on the sideline. That was pretty pleasing to see, and so positive. And no one complained. No one even got worried. They kind of had a sense of confidence about themselves that they were going to find a way to win it. And you can hear that on the sideline. And then offense got the ball. There was no doubt. And you look at the way Denny ran and Eddie ran, and they had it in their eyes. They were going to find a way to go score. And then once the defense took the field, they said, we're going to get the ball back. And so proud of the way they answered. And coming off that, now, again, continue to evaluate and see where we're at. Now, how we're going to come off a big win like that and get back and get refocused and take 1 week at a time again.
And if you can touch on the road crowd, the support that you guys had out there, 5.5 hours away, just what were your thoughts on the away crowd to go out there and support you guys there near Houston?
That was huge. Again, just fired up and thank them. We needed that energy. You always need energy on the road, but to come out for pregame warm up and see the whole the stands behind you in orange was fabulous. And again, they got loud. They were loud there at the end, and it looked like a great game. Great game for them to be a part of. But definitely as many fans as we can get on the road. We always need that extra support.
Coach, early it was the rushing attack that was really doing damage for the offense. Ultimately, that ended up winning the game for y'all. Could you speak on the team's resilience, to be able to rush the ball that late in the game with that much energy on the road?
Yeah, again, just boils down to the toughness, the mentality we talk about, going harder for longer, and knowing that we have to run the ball effectively to win the ball games. You're going to have to run the ball at some point. And again, things were working early, and we hit them with some new schemes they hadn't seen, and they're, again, well coached. They came out, they had some answers and stopped some of those things, and then we kind of stopped ourselves a few times there offensively. But again, when it came down to it, it goes back to putting the ball in the ball's hands, putting the ball in the hands of the guys you trust. And getting the ball to trying to get the ball to Tony, trying to get the ball to Zay, putting it in Denny's hands, and then at the end keeping it in Marburger's hands, because he flat said, he goes, I'm going to get the first down.
Was there any thought about you telling Eddie to slide maybe at the end?
No, the only thing we talked about was we needed a first down, but we didn't need to score. We did not want to score there even at the end, because we could still talk to him in the headset. So we knew we had to run one more play with the timeouts they had before we could take a knee. So just made sure that even though we were on the one, hey, do not score this thing. If we can just knock 3 seconds off, then we could take a knee and win it.
Coach, with 3 minutes left in the game, obviously you talk about that moment of adversity. Denny scoring the go-ahead touchdown, Prosser punching the ball out. Just how does a moment like that just kind of rally the locker room and ultimately, get these guys to continue knowing the overarching mission of what you guys want to do this season?
Yeah, it just kind of, again, emphasizes everything we teach and what we want to be about, and in overcoming adversity and standing by each other, having each other's backs, and you find that out more in tough times than in good times. But again, to see them respond, to have the trust that there was that not hesitation, but decision, I guess, as a head coach, play caller. Okay, do we punt this or do we go for it? You know, it's the fourth quarter, but that trust that we're going to punt them, pin it down. First of all, we're going to get a good punt, pin them down. Defense is going to stop them. We're going to get the ball back. We still had all our timeouts left. We're going to get the ball back in good enough field position to be able to go down and score. And popped a couple of passes there, and then you kind of get in. You still got time on the clock. You got all your timeouts, and then it becomes strategic. Well, you don't want to score too fast, so you want to try to run some time off the clock. You're in field goal range. All you need is a field goal. So all those decisions are going through your mind at the same time you're trying to call plays. So it's but it was good to be back in that situation too as a coach and play caller, because we need that same experience as the guys do for down the road. So and then being able to again know we wanted to keep it on the ground a little bit, burn some clock, and we saw everybody in the box. And we knew the option would be there, so it was the right time.
And then just looking ahead to Langston this week, obviously a lot of programs could look at this as like a look-ahead week with an NAI program coming in here, but how have you just kept these guys locked in, keeping it 1 week at a time and just do what you guys need to do on Saturday night?
It's the same mentality we've had since week one of camp. It's about us. It's never about, we're going to look up and see who our opponent is, but the goal is the same at the end of the week. The goal is to be 1-0, but in reality, it's not necessarily, hey, can we beat Langston this week? The goal is how good can we be at the end of week 3? How much better can we be from week 3 to week 2? The goal from the first day of training camp is how good can we be? We need to be playing our best football September 26th when we get on that plane to go play Southeast. So that's still the focus. It's about us. And again, every day, every rep again, the goal is to be 1-0, but also how good can we be? How much better can we be from this week to last week? Because even, looking at last week, we felt like we left some things. We left some things out there. We could have done some things better, especially offensively. A lot of it, there was a couple of serious bad play calls by the head coach that could have helped get some first downs and keep the defense off the field there. So things we all got to get better at and just focus on ourselves.
Coach, what are your thoughts on having two very different types of wins under your belt, a shutout and then one where you guys got to come back from behind?
Every situation we can gain, everything we can go through right now is just experience for down the road, and we needed that. And that's again, even the way the game started. Told the team at the end of the game, would have rather right now as a head coach would have rather win the game exactly the same way. If we could do it over, I would do it the exact same way over a 42-17 win, because we learned more about ourselves. We learned how to handle those situations, because we're going to need to do that down the road at some point. But to be able to have that confidence to go on the road in a tough environment, have things go wrong, and then find a way to come back and win, and have that resilience and grit is the growth we need as a program right now for down the road.
Coach, y'all are 2 games away from the start of conference play. How important are these next 2 games that you'll gear up for that?
Every game, every day is important, but definitely again. So execution, still looking at some personnel. You can see some different personnel, especially on special teams. We've got to have a lot of improvement there before we get into conference. So really, just again, continue. Hopefully, if we can get some guys in the game and continue to sharpen our tools on each side of the football, and just continue to focus on ourselves and see how much better we can be.
Coach, now that you've seen the mobile quarterback play against your defense, just how do you plan to adjust the next time you guys play against a mobile quarterback that ultimately flipped the game up there, but you guys were able to come up with a scheme to stop them late in the game?
Yeah, again, first time for them to see a quarterback of that caliber. We're going to see several in conference. Another athletic guy this week. So just, again, some of those reps, there's no subs. You can't simulate in practice. So as much as you can just get that experience in games, you could saw that, again, we had some pressure on them. We missed some sacks. We missed some opportunities. Just being able to come in there and judge those angles, and with his strength and speed. But again, just continue to get in those situations and learn from them. There was so much good stuff to learn from on this film with our guys. They were up here yesterday, and we were able to get a lot of stuff taught and learned, and corrections made. Because again, that was really our first. It was our first D1 opponent, but our first, action against a good football team, where we got exposed on some things, got away with some things week 1, some tackling, some angles, things like that on defense, some blocks, and some pass game stuff on offense as well. All 3 phases. Now that again allows us to pinpoint those things so we can correct them moving forward.
All right. So obviously, Denny yesterday was a great game on the ground, and then also first game seeing a couple guys rush one in. Just thoughts on what you've seen from your running back room these first couple of games, and what do you think can be applied toward the next 2 ahead of conference?
I like they're unique and like our room. We try to build it different, but they're all different. I like them all. They all got various skills and talents. But Denny kind of has the I guess the full package. He has the size, the strength. He can run, the power runner. He has speed, great ball skills on the outside. We like to get those guys out in the pass game. So definitely, the guy that can take the load as well. You saw him take a lot of carries, a big load this week. TJ is getting better every week. TJ. He is so strong for really pound for pound. He's probably one of the strongest guys on the team. As small as he is, has one of the biggest, best vertical jumps on the team as well. So explosive, and you can see his speed when he turns a corner. So he's continuing to get better. He keeps finding his way in the end zone. He's going to get more reps this week. You'll see him in there getting a lot of reps. Fabian Garcia is going to get some reps this week. He does a good job in practice, such a tough runner as well. Still for him developing, probably some more strength, but great ball skills. And of course, Javinsky. Javinsky's a big body back, can do a lot of good things, especially we need to in the run game.
And Coach, through these first 2 games, is there anything that you've seen consistently that you've liked? And then are there any areas that you would like to see improvement on moving forward?
I really like the way our defense is playing, and just going back, thought they played their tails off all night, Saturday night. You look at, again, I'll take the blame. You get there in the third quarter, we run 8 plays in the third quarter offense, and it was bad play calling by me, but anytime you run 8 plays in a quarter, the defense is on the field the rest of the time. So it's just a matter of time with them on the field that long that Texas Southern was going to put together some drives to come down there and score. So I really like the way our defense is playing. Offensively, I think execution has been good. Again, Prairie View's a good team. You play a good team, they're going to make plays. But again, with the challenge there was, can we continue to be explosive and make big plays against bigger corners? You saw Tony make some good big plays. They did some things to take away Zay. Obviously, Zay was kind of the big deep threat in week 1, so they did some things to cap him, but which left Tony one-on-one. So being able to continue to be explosive, that's going to be, again, a question week in, week out. Can we find a way to do that when they know it's coming? Eddie's been good, kind of went through a rough patch there, the third. Again, they did some things. His first time's got to get back into rhythm, but, boiled down to the end of the game. And when it came down to it, he made the plays he needed to play, and that last drive was dang near perfect offensively. So those 2 things, finally got a punt, got punt team involved this week, and then they got some punts, so there's some units there. Kickoff return was their first really chance to get a return. So those 2 units, kickoff was pretty solid. There's some things we got to get cleaned up. Prairie View kind of owned the special team field position battle with a lot of it hurt with our punt return average and some penalties there. We got to get cleaned up on special teams, but really pleased again the way our defense, the effort, our defense is playing with the physicalness. They were physical against Prairie View. So if we can continue to play great defense, that's number 1 on our plan to win, and then continue to be explosive and execute offensively, we'll have a chance.
That game, you forced a 3-and-out, then down 1, and then went down the field and got the touchdown to take the lead and win the game. Talking about what you saw and learned from your team on that quick 3-and-out, and then leading down all the way for Eddie to lead them for a touchdown. Yeah,
it's just, again, that leadership, that grit, and again, the trust goes back to the trust factor, going back to putting them down, trusting our defense was going to get a stop. And then once we got the ball back, they knew they were going to score, and they were going to find a way. And again, put the ball in Eddie's hands, and he put it exactly where it's supposed to be. His eyes were in the right spot. Then we came down and we needed to run the ball in there to chew some clock and punch it in, and those guys did a great job.
How proud are you of Frank Mooney and the fact that he started this team as a walk-on and he's on scholarship?
And it's just so proud of him. And people don't know the whole story of him, and as a walk-on, and having to drive every morning from San Benito and hitch rides without a ride, and just the working jobs, 2 jobs on the side, just at night. Just some of these guys that they don't hear those stories, but love the fact, and he's earned it. And when he got rewarded a scholarship, he kind of thanked me. I was like, dude, you earned this. Don't thank me. I'm thanking you. You're the one that's refused to give up that spot. And we kind of, and as coaches, he had that spot that first year. We're all freshmen in his practice, and in our minds, we're like, yeah, he's good, but we'll probably, we're going to recruit better, and we try to recruit better, but he won't give up that spot, which shows his toughness, his tenacity, and his, that chip on his shoulder that he wants to prove himself and earn it. He does it every day, and just so proud of him and excited now that we can reward him and hopefully keep him around for a while.
Coach, you always talk about effort and execution week in, week out. I guess just keys for a win against Langston. Obviously, effort, execution. Talk about the explosive plays, the defense setting the tone. Just what's that recipe for a win on Saturday?
Yeah, the theme of this week's kind of attitude, our attitude and the choices we make and how we handle this week every day in preparing and preparation. Same thing. It's going to be getting in that ball game, seeing what they're going to, they're going to be a spread offense. They don't play much with the tight end, so they're going to be pretty spread and try to throw the football around. So I think, again, it's going to be one at the line of scrimmage. It goes down to that, that execution and toughness down there. But, hopefully, we can get some pressure on that quarterback defensively. And then really execution across the board and making sure we're sound. Special teams goes back to kind of game one. You don't want to. You want to keep hounding on details, not letting any details slide. I told the team, we kind of got on today, like we're no area to let details slide. I said, we've won 2 games. All that guarantees is the worst we're going to be is 2-10 right now. So there's still a lot of football left. There's a lot of good teams. We've got to get better as a program. We got to get better at every position, at every unit. So again, continuing to just live by that day, take one day at a time, do the best we can, win each day, and then pop up Saturday and see how good we can be. But always definitely looking for the effort, the energy, the execution, and again, improvement. I think that's the one improvement. Can we improve from week 2 to week 3?
Coach, I know Kingsley got in there at right tackle in the second half there against Prairie View, able to hold his own, and of course, that whole offensive line got working there, that final drive. What did you see from him to get in there and really not lose any traction there at the right tackle?
Yeah, Kingsley's good, and that's we got several good guys that could play. We can only put 5 on the field, but you see how quick he moves. He's the most athletic lineman I've seen in a long time. Like he's got NFL talent. Like he has such fast feet. You watch his pass set, the best pass protector on our team. And there's situations where if we were in a 2-minute situation, he'd be in because he is the best pass protector. Same way you put different backs in, different receivers in for certain things. He'd be a guy, he has a role, but he's continuing to improve. Obviously, a late addition, still learning some things schematically, but definitely a guy that's going to continue to play a lot for us.
And then if you can talk to last week about Brendan Ray, and then on the game-winning touchdown, he's out there clearing space for Nate, Danny. Just your thoughts on him, and I know you talked about it last weekend, but actually seeing him get in there on a big play and make some room there to get in the end zone.
Yeah, just the trust level. The guys that earn it day in day out, and then being a true freshman, he's getting better every week. But yeah, to know it's 3rd and 1 with a game on the line on the road, and you're going to put him out there as a lead blocker, just shows the trust we have in him, in his ability, and know that he's going to get the job done.